Hi guys, Martin Hughes here for Strictly Average MTG. Just wrapping up the Peasant Cube on a Budget series that we've been running. So what I've done here is this website is called cubetutor.com. It's written by a guy called Ben, based out of England, and he's basically put this site together all by himself. Lets you manage your own cube, so you can plug all 360 cards, or however many cards your cube has, into the site, and it basically manages it for you. So you can see in here I've plugged in all 360 that we picked in our last, I think it was 8 articles, the series that we ran, where we put together a peasant cube from scratch on a budget. So in here you can see that we can look at the mana curve, we can look at the cards that we've selected. Helps us, when we're thinking about what we want to swap in, swap out, it helps us look at some of the different, I guess, some of the different ways that you can look at the cards. We're lumped in between creatures and non-creatures here. We've got the mana curve. You can actually filter it by any number of things. So you can actually filter it by creature tribe and things like that as well. It's very powerful. But it will also let you do a test draft against bots. So just for those who haven't done a draft before, this is pretty much us test drafting it. And this isn't obviously the most powerful series of bots you've ever run into, but it's a good test, and that's what this is all about. So this is just a random selection of the 360 cards that we selected. This is just going to simulate what a real cube draft would be like. It's going to step us through 3 boosters, so it's just like doing a booster draft down at the local game store or whatever. Just simulating doing a cube draft at your own kitchen table with 3 boosters. So here's our first booster. So for those who haven't drafted before, there's a really basic drafting theory called BREAD, B-R-E-A-D. It stands for bombs, removal, evasion, abilities, and dross. And it basically is a way of remembering the order in which to draft things. So bombs is pretty much anything that's going to win the game on resolution or something close to that. Removal is obvious. It's something that's going to deal with a threat across the table. Evasion is a creature that is at least hard to deal with. Abilities is a creature that does something, anything on top of just being a boring vanilla creature. And dross is everything else, as you can imagine. So pack one, pick one. Obviously, we want the best card available. I look at the 15 we have here. Sarah Angel is ridiculously strong in this archetype. Basically, anything power 4, toughness 4 or greater is a house in this format. And it's also evasive. There's lots of other good options here. Obviously, we can see a fair bit of removal. There's Tragic Slip, Flame Slash. Beetleback Chief is also really quite strong. Stormblood Berserker is quite evasive and can be quite big. Boris Charm is an excellent card as well. But I've got to pick Sarah Angel here. So there we go. We can see it's going to show us our selections as we go through as well. So that's our first pick, and it'll take us through to our second pick. So in real life, what happens is someone to your right will hand you their booster after taking their first pick, and round the circle we go, as per this little circle up here. So we've picked a white card. That doesn't necessarily mean we are married to white just yet. What would I pick out of here? Ponder is Ponder. Black Vice is Black Vice. Two very strong cards there. Smash to Smithereens is very good as well. Electrolyze is really good as well. Um, be very hard to play both Serra Angel and Electrolyze in the one deck, which kind of pushes me away from picking that. Cultivate's very good as well. Lots of strong picks here. I think I'm going to take Ponder just because it's banned in so many formats. Pick 3. So you can see we're just going to churn our way through it, and lots of strong blue cards that have been left behind. So this is just some signals to start looking at as we draft. The colours that haven't disappeared are obviously the colours that our friends to our right are not drafting, so they're going to be more open. You're going to get a better selection of cards in that colour. So blue really stands out to me in what is left of this booster. And to be honest, all 4 of those blue cards are excellent. Oh, tough pick. Think Twice is the weakest of the 4. The other 3, Mole Drifter, Frantic Search, Capsize, they're all brilliant in their own way. Let's go. We've already picked some card advantage. Let's go Capsize. Next booster. So we've kind of said we're going to go into white and blue so far. Again, we're still not necessarily stuck with those colours. Palaka Worm is amazing, but it's 3 green and we're not in green, which is unfortunate. The white and blue stuff we've got left it's not bad, but it's fairly narrow. Young Pyromancer is fantastic. Dark Ritual is fantastic. Shadow Mage Infiltrator is pretty good. Swiftfoot Boots is pretty good. I'm actually going to lean towards taking the boots. So the deal with artifacts, certainly for me, is I look at artifacts and go, anyone is going to pick them. They can go in any deck. So if I see a strong artifact, I'm going to pick it, simply because there's a higher chance of it disappearing at any other seat around the table. So next pick, Mother of Runes. Can't leave that behind. That is a fantastic card. Okay, so next booster, that is a lot of red that's been left behind. We are pretty much married to blue and white now, but you know, if we see a lot of good options starting to open up in another colour, that won't stop us. Pestamite's not bad, Negate's not bad. Bloodwater Entity is an amazing card, especially in this format. I'm actually tempted to lean towards picking that and just seeing what ends up coming our way. So it just makes us look at red as an option. Here, Field of Souls is good enough in white. Next booster, that Angel is a house. You don't see this card get played a lot, but in this format it is incredible. It's big, flying, and it locks down all your opponent's creatures for the turn. It's pretty nasty, so we'll take that. So at this point, you'll start to recognize these cards again. This means that the first booster's done a lap of the table, and we can start to see what's gone missing out of that booster and what hasn't. So you'll see that red is way open. No one has picked a red card really, which means taking Bloodwater Entity was probably a pretty good move. But we've also got a lot of white cards, so we'll figure this out as we go. Probably the best card left there, I guess is Beetleback Chief or Boris Charm. Let's go Boris Charm for now. And I'm just going to highlight Cogwork Librarian. This, they obviously haven't coded the draft matters stuff into the site. It's pretty hard to do. In real life, this is a pretty fun card to play. Basically gives you 2 picks out of another booster. So at this point in the draft, I could take this, hang on to it, and start of the second booster, I can take 2 cards out of it and slot this back into it. It's a pretty good card. So it's probably what I'd pick here in real life, but it's not going to help me on the website, unfortunately. Let's see, probably Smash to Smithereens, I guess. It's not too bad. Tough choice, this one. Let's go Card Advantage. Is it Charm is probably the best card, considering we are looking at maybe blue and maybe red. Not really sure yet. Mana Tithe is good enough. We're down to 2 red cards. Dragon Fodder is probably a bit better. Both about the same, and Elvish Mystic's not a bad last pick, is it? So this is booster number 2. So just before we go launching into that, you can see we've had a bit of white, bit of red, bit of blue. It's pretty hard to play 3 colours in this format, so we're going to try and narrow it down to 2. And this is probably where we start to do that. It depends on what we see at the start of the second booster, what our best option is. And here we've got lots of blue counter spells. We've got some red burn. Nothing that really stands out, unfortunately. We could be really wild and pick Expedition Map and try and go for 3 colours. Let's see what happens. And way, there's Delver of Secrets. That is probably the best thing there. So that, between that and the Bloodwater entity, that's starting to lean us towards playing blue-red and playing instants and sorceries. There's a lot of cards that we purposely put into the cube that lean us towards that archetype, that strategy. So that means as we go through now, we're going to start trying to drill down into picking blue and red sorceries. The white is still there if we want it to. If we find some decent stuff in white, then that'll push us back to that as well. It's still an option right up until probably the last few picks, the third booster. But we can see Chain Lightning here. That's a fantastic card. We'll pick that one. If the website decides to respond to me anyway. Maybe not. No, it's going to splash out on me because my internet is being silly. There it goes. Crunch. So now that we're playing ball again, Gutter Snipe. Exactly what we're after. Impulse is really strong as well. But Gutter Snipe is the pick. And now we're starting to see our archetype come together. Active Treason or Fire Blast. Fire Blast is the stronger card. Only 1 blue card there and no red cards, but this guy is one of my little pets. I've played with him a lot in my own Peasant cube. My kids love this card to bits, and it is going to be sneaky good. It's going to grow without people realizing, really. So it can sit there and be deceiving. Tough choices. I guess we want an instant or sorcery. This is really the only one there. Into the Royal is a pretty good card, so we'll pick that. More strong cards. Hordeling Outburst, Mana Leak. We haven't got too many counter spells yet, so we'll take Mana Leak. Even Augur Bolus was pretty good. Condescend or Thirst for Knowledge. Just taking a counter spell, so we'll take Thirst. It's another counter spell. Or we've got this guy here. This guy's pretty sneaky. He turns into a 5/5 for 5 mana if your hand is empty. And you can morph him and muck about with him. The only problem with the archetype that we've chosen is we're not really aiming for our hand to be empty that much. It's going to be sitting there with a mitt full of counter spells, so and other stuff. So he's probably not the guy we want. I guess we take Spell Pierce. Not too many options for us here. Flayer Husk is available to us. It's nothing much to write home about. So I'm just going to take the best card available here. This is a card I don't really want to see the green guy across the table playing, so I'll take that. Impulse has come back to us. Take that. Terminate is the worst thing there. Dread Return's the worst thing there by a long way. And that's not the worst thing if we decide to splash white. Final booster. And there's Lightning Bolt staring at us right in the middle. Easily the best card available. Easily. And Brainstorm, boy. Miscalculation's pretty good too. Rift Bolt up the top. Monastery Swift Spear. Lots of things we could take here. Pyroclasm is strong. Probably want a creature or two at some point as well. Can see we've really started to focus on the archetype that we've chosen, and we're starting to get some strong cards and a strong deck idea. We just need to make sure we have a balance between the spells, the things that make it work, some creatures to at least try and win the game with. Seagate Oracle's not terrible. As far as creatures go, Aether Adept's a pretty good creature. Bushwhacker's up there, but he's probably better if we're playing more creatures. So we'll go the Adept. Jetting Glasskite. Another really, really strong flyer. 4 power, 4 toughness body, and makes your own stuff hard to get rid of. So he's exactly what we want. What do I take out of here? Jackal Pup is not really the kind of card we're looking for. It's more red aggro. Trigon Predator annoys me when I face it. Guardian of the Guild Pact is also really strong. So is Plated Crusher. They're all things I really don't want to face. Guardian, there is probably not going to be anything much in our deck that can deal with that. So just because I'm not going to be able to deal with it, I'm going to pick it. Wall of Omens is strong, but we're trying to focus on blue and red, so Arc Lightning. Lots of choices there. Seismic Strike's not bad. Lightning Maul is not bad. The Marauders aren't bad. I think we'll take the Mind Stone though. Monastery Swift Spear's come back to us. Reckless Waif isn't bad, but it's more of an aggro card. Mishra's Factory is probably the thing to take. We took a Pyroclasm further down, so we kind of, if there's a lot of weenies on the board, we leave ourselves open to being able to sweep the board and then having Mishra's Factory around at the end. had the land there I could have taken as well, obviously. Um, Down to the very last, Horizon Chimera is a pretty decent flyer that I don't want to run into, so I'll take that. At this point, this Signet is actually not that bad. It actually helps us splash white if we want to. At the very least, even if we don't run white, it essentially helps us ramp. It's going to be pay one of anything, get blue and one. So it's a ramp at the very least. Lightning Helix and Trigon Predator came back to us. So that is the draft. Pretty much tried to churn through it. At the end of it, the website actually lets you put a deck together. So let's just see what we can do. Cube is traditionally a 40 card deck, so you're looking for 23 cards and 17 land. Mishra's Factory will count towards the 17. So out of the last 44, we're looking to pick 23. So let's just go through and pull out the obvious ones. We want to focus on blue and red. So the map, Delver, Chain Lightning, Cloudfin Raptor, Lightning Bolt, Brainstorm, Monastery, Swift Spear we want to play. They're all pretty good. Smash, is it Charm? Dragon Fodder's alright. Into the Royal, Mana Leak, Impulse, Pyroclasm, Mindstone. Capsize is ridiculous. Bloodwater Entity, Gutter Snipe, Thirst for Knowledge. What else do I want? Jame Day Toman's going to keep fueling us. Jetting Glasskite is amazing. And that gets us to 23, counting a land. So I've only got room for one more. Sometimes these decks just build themselves. So importantly, I've only got 6 creatures. There's a Dragon Fodder in here, so strictly speaking, I can say I've got 8, but I'm pushing the friendship a little bit. If I want to put anything else in, I probably want to put a creature in. Fire Blast is a great card and I want to put it in, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Ether Adept is probably the trickiest thing we can put in. Not only can it control our opponent's board, it helps us replay Bloodwater Entity, provided the Glasskite's not out. It helps us do a couple of tricky little things, so we'll add that. So then we just need to add the basic land, 16 basics. I could do the proper maths here, but I'm sure you don't want to hear me do maths in my head. So just roughly, it looks as though I need maybe about 9 islands and 7 mountains. So we just specify them up here, set the land, and it'll add them over in the corner. And from there, you can actually save the deck and go back and look through it. There we go. So that is a really quick and dirty draft of our Peasant Cube on a budget. Hope you've enjoyed the series. I'm going to leave the cube up here on Cube Tutor and give you a link so you can actually go and draft it yourself. And by all means, take the list and make it your own and add all your own cards and take all my lousy ones out. Hope you've had fun, guys. See ya.